Thank you. That's nice. Thank you.
Are we ever going to get the secret of the hair bow? Is that... No. Going to keep
I
that?
will tell you one thing. People have asked me, why do I wear it? And that's a personal reason. But a lot of people say, when are you going to take it out of your hair? I mean, I'm getting to be an old bag, and to wear a bow in my hair is a little ridiculous. But the Smithsonian has asked me for the bow. And if they do, I will give it to them.
And one of the interesting things I also found out that I wasn't aware of was apparently you're responsible for Morey Amsterdam being Buddy Sorrell.
Well, Morey and I have been friends since I've been 12 years old. I've known Morey that long, which is a good, 25 years. But Dick was the first one cast, and I was the first one after Dick. Then they signed Morey, and then they signed Richard Deacon. And then they signed the kid, Larry Matthews, and Mary was the last one they signed because they couldn't get the right girl, and Danny Thomas had remembered something about the girl with the 3 names that applied for a job on his show as his daughter, and he said, nobody would believe that she's my daughter with that nose, you know. So the girl with the 3 names, that's how Mary got the job.
Ladies and gentlemen, Morey Amsterdam.
Sit down, we saw the suit.
Concludes our show, everybody dance. I want to tell you, what are you doing here? Waiting for a bus?
I'm waiting for you.
Oh, boy. Oh, how are you,
How
JJ?
are you? Very nice to meet
see
you.
you again.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, what are
So
you
I guess
doing
we could
here?
still give you any topic in the world and you could still come up with a
It's
joke.
been going on like that for a long time. It's kind of like being the fastest draw in the West. You know, people stop you in the street. They don't even say hello. Tell me a joke about a bird. Tell me a joke about traffic, about anything.
Now, you mentioned pickle.
Yeah, pickles.
And of course, when I hear the word pickle, I can't help but
Well, that was
remember
my
Pickle
wife in the
Sorrell.
show. That was my wife's name in the show. And if you recall, we referred to her. Didn't we always refer to her? She had once been a stripper in burlesque.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, and in those days, you know, they were named after was Peaches Klein and Sadie something else, and her name was Pickle. Isn't that so?
Every time I think of Mel Cooley, I think the word yuck, which must bring some
Yeah,
memories
yuck,
back to you.
Yuck.
Yuck.
But I explained it all happened by accident. If you remember, we were rehearsing, I think, our maybe 5th or 6th show, and Deke said something entirely had nothing to do with anything else. And I said, you know something, Deke? I said, your hair didn't fall out. It fell in and clouded your brain. And that was the start. It was a very, very good relationship.
Yeah.
Yucky.
It was, you know, a lot of people have asked us, did we ad-lib a lot? You know, well, we did at rehearsal. And we would, you know, somebody say, leave that in, leave that in, leave that in. Because Dick, God love him, Dick doesn't know how talented he is. He really doesn't. He would get up and out of the blue in rehearsal, he would do something and we'd laugh. And he'd say, is that funny? And we'd say, yeah, leave it in, leave it in. And when we did the show, we stuck pretty much to the script, but it had all been worked out during rehearsal.
But you had to explain why we had to stick to it, because we were one of the first, I think, Lucy Ball was first, and then Danny Thomas, and we were third show that used 3 cameras.
And in front of a live audience, too.
In front of a live audience.
The best way for comedy.
All 3 cameras were photographing the exact same thing. One was a master shot, which meant the whole thing, and another was a 3/4 shot and a close-up. Then when it got into the editor's room, he would put it, and if we made the wrong kind of a move, it would louse up the cameras, and somebody would yell Mayday, and we'd have to start the scene over again.
Well, I'm sure these folks out here probably have some questions that they'd like to ask you, and that's what we're going to do in our next segment. We're going to go out to you folks, so assemble your questions, and we'll be right back. Welcome back here to Reunion. And this is actually our audience participation portion of the show, or the odd part port in nautical terms. This is when we go out into the audience and find out if you folks have any questions that you'd like to ask our 2 celebrity guests here. So let's look through here and find out who has the first question. Anybody? We got the lady right here in the green and white stripes. Why don't you stand up here for a moment? What is your question?
Has there ever been talk of a possible reunion movie?
There's been lots of talk of reunion show, or reunion movie, or a 2-hour special, but Dick doesn't want to do it. Everybody else is agreeable, but Dick doesn't want to do it. He figures the Dick Van Dyke Show is over and it's done with, and that's it. And he doesn't want to do it. Yeah. We all would love to do it, but he doesn't.
That's kind of a shame.
Yes, it is.
I think everybody
I think that if we ever had a reunion show like that, I think it would be the highest rated show that has ever been.
Of all time.
Yeah.
I really do. I really do. Thank you.
How about anybody else? Any other questions? Okay, we have this gentleman right here. What is your question, sir?
Yeah. What's Richie Petrie, the kid who played Richie Petrie? What's he doing today?
Larry Matthews.
Yeah, Larry Matthews now working in studios as an
He works
assistant
behind the
director.
camera now.
Yeah.
He's a director.
And he's bigger than anybody ever saw.
No,
This
he
way,
hasn't.
too.
He's lost some weight.
Well, you were looking at the wrong scale, or else you were looking at the
No, he's.
I'm
he's,
telling you, the kid's fat. This
So
man
he's
isn't
going
fat.
for bigger things in life
That's his
now.
business. He poses for upholstered
You
furniture.
shut up.
Anybody else with a question? Anybody have anything they'd like to say to these? Well, let's get this lady right down here. Why don't you stand up for us?
I think she's all right by herself.
What was your favorite episode?
I had several. I had one which was my birthday, and they were all concerned about my birthday, and the insurance man comes to my apartment, and I think he's a date. And I set up the whole table and everything, and I tell them that I have a date, and he comes over, and he misunderstands the fact that I have a date, and he just came to sell me insurance.
Oh.
Where have you
sure.
been,
He must have thought you were a
Fastbinder?
family member.
Yeah, Fastbinder. That's
Where have
right,
you
I
been,
remember that.
Fastbinder?
I proved to him that life insurance is no good. My uncle had it. He died anyway.
But that, and I think the funniest show we ever did was when the baby was born,
Oh, yeah.
because there were so many breakups in that show that
Dick
I don't know
was
how they ever
marvelous.
put it together.
Dick was marvelous.
Well, when you
That's
took your pants down and you had the
Yeah, he didn't have pants. And something happened. He borrowed the pants for me, and it looked like they were yours.
Hang on to that.
Okay. The chemistry among the cast members seemed marvelous. Were you as close as you appeared to be?
yes.
You know, it's kind of cliche to say like a happy family, but
Yes.
we really were.
It sounds, yes, it's corny. It
True, in
sounds
the
corny.
5 years that we were together, nobody ever was upset or temperamental or anything.
But the
just
funny part of it is, if we were invited anywhere, like a TV,
And set him up in the other alley.
right? If we were invited to a TV guide party where we were going to get awards or something, everybody would come in, and all of a sudden our little group would just get together and just stay together. And
Yeah.
we were like that all the time. We socialized to a degree, not all the time, but we did socialize a lot. And when my husband passed away, it was the last year of the show, and they were just unbelievable. They were the best family I've ever had in my life. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from my mother or anything like that, but they were just, they didn't say anything that would upset me, or they even took things out of the script that might remind me of something. And Richard Deacon used to go to them and say, don't touch her, because if you touch her, she'll cry, and don't talk about anything unless she wants to talk about it. So you must really care in order to do that, and I think everybody did. We all cared about one another.
Perfect. I know. I'm sure I can speak for the audience here when I say we'd like to keep going on all afternoon, but I
Why
just
not?
got the
What
signal
else you
that
got to do?
unfortunately we're at. I don't have much of a life, actually. This is all I do have to do. But unfortunately, we are out of time. Please join me. A big round of applause to Marie Morey Amsterdam. And you for being here. Thank you very much.